I'm your host Kevin O'Donoghue and welcome to IWN Week in Wrestling. 2 weeks ago I reported that the changes in YouTube's ad policy are having a significant effect on wrestling YouTube channels, especially WCPW. If you'd like to watch that report, you can click on the annotation just up in the corner there. Well, it looks like YouTube strikes again, literally. On Friday, June 2nd, WCPW aired their live event Fight Back on the video sharing platform, and within less than 24 hours later, they tweeted out the following. Not only is wrestling not monetizable on YouTube, apparently it's not welcome at all. We have now been issued a strike, #fightback. So the channel has been issued a strike for apparently violating YouTube's policy on spam and deceptive practices. I'll admit I'm not overly familiar with the fine details of YouTube's ad policies, but strictly from an observational point of view, I don't see how this can be considered spam or deceptive. It's a one-off show that tells you exactly what it is. So I'm going to call bullshit on this one. Some speculate that the strike came as a result of the Fightback logo being a parody on the YouTube logo. But this also makes no sense, as many YouTube channels parody the YouTube logo for their content, yet you don't hear about them receiving strikes. As a result of the strike, the video has been pulled and WCPW have also had their ability to livestream revoked. This is a huge blow for the channel, as the focus of the channel is to livestream their shows. Yesterday WCPW released another video, which I'll link in the description, appealing to YouTube to change their ad policy. WCPW General Manager and What Culture personality Adam Blampier talked about how wrestling is a community that brings people together. He also asked folks to sign and share a petition that's going around at the moment asking YouTube to change their ad policies. I'll link it in the description for you. I myself have already signed and shared the petition, and I call on all fans, YouTubers, wrestlers and wrestling promotions to do the same. We are a community, and as a community we need to stand together and let YouTube know how much we respect and love professional wrestling. Let your voice be heard. So folks, what are your thoughts on the YouTube and wrestling situation? Let your voice be heard and sound off in the comments. So last month, British wrestling promotion 5 Star Wrestling made headlines when reports broke that they were offering former WWE superstar CM Punk $1 million to join the 128-man tournament on June 10th. Well, it looks like CM Punk has a little more time to decide. Well, it was reported late last week that the tournament wasn't going ahead anymore when talent posted on Twitter that they'd received emails about the cancellation. But later 5 Star Wrestling announced that the tournament hasn't been cancelled, it's been postponed until February 2018. Even with the change in dates, some folks are still sceptical as to whether the tournament will still go ahead or not. Several wrestlers took to Twitter to voice their anger at the situation, including the aerial assassin Will Ospreay, who tweeted the following. Email about the shows being cancelled, absolutely furious isn't even the word. Not for me, but for the others. Can't wait for the excuse. And the Iron Man Joe Coffey also took to Twitter when he tweeted this at CM Punk. Sup at CM Punk, dodged the bullet on not doing that tour. So folks, what are your thoughts on the 5 Star Wrestling situation? Do you think the tournament will still go ahead or not? Sound off in the comments. Well, they say that the third time's the charm, and since this is the third video I've done on WCPW and YouTube storyline, and that this time it's actually good news, that saying couldn't be truer. For those of you who haven't been following, here's a quick recap. Advertisers started pulling out of YouTube after hate speech started appearing on YouTube videos. This led YouTube to slash revenue on what they deemed non-advertiser friendly content, and they put professional wrestling in this bracket. Due to this, the Newcastle-based promotion WCPW was affected to the point where they had to cancel their weekly show WCPW Loaded. But fast forward about 2 weeks later and WCPW were hit again. On June 2nd they aired their WCPW show Fight Back, and soon afterwards received a strike from YouTube for apparently violating YouTube's spam and deceptive practices policies. Well, this resulted in the video being pulled from the video sharing platform and WCPW's ability to livestream revoked. This was obviously a huge blow for them, as the main focus of the channel is to livestream their shows. Well, after WCPW General Manager and What Culture personality Adam Blampier made an impassioned speech about the whole situation and how wrestling brings people together, it looks like YouTube finally woke up and took notice. On early Tuesday morning we found out the good news when Adam Blampier tweeted the following. Fight Back's back, the appeal was successful, the strike has been removed. This is brilliant news for WCPW, as Fight Back has returned to YouTube. But it's also a positive outlook for the future of the YouTube and wrestling community relationship. So folks, what are your thoughts on the whole wrestling YouTube situation? Sound off in the comments. As many of you may know, over the last few months, a number of current and former WWE superstars fell victim to cyber attacks where private and explicit materials were leaked online. According to PW Insider, WWE held mandatory meetings during this past week's Raw and SmackDown tapings in order to prevent something like this from happening again. They also reported that these meetings were described to them as classes on cybersecurity threats, with an expert from a cybersecurity firm brought in by WWE to give a presentation to the roster. The presentation broke down the different ways in which they might find themselves tricked into a security breach. Also, according to the report, talent were warned not to accept USB drives as gifts, even if they're from beautiful women promising naked photos, which is a scenario that has caught celebrities in the past. The expert also gave other examples of how public figures have been embarrassed online, and provided specific ways in which they can prevent themselves from such attacks in the future. As well as that, WWE issued an amendment on their social media policy which they gave talent to sign. Although the details of the amendment have not been confirmed, WWE has stressed that no one other than talent and WWE social media teams should have access to talent's social media accounts. So folks, what are your thoughts on WWE taking these steps to prevent future such attacks on their talent? Sound off in the comments. I've been your host, Kevin O'Donoghue. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, Kevin O'Meester. So until the next video folks, good luck.